Alright, so it's not I needed to I was going to do a video anyway today. It's just today's a lot harder than usual. Luckily I make notes because I get easily lost. Alright, so I have a court hearing. Not this Friday, not Black Friday, but the Friday after. I have a court hearing for my son. Um Custody modification. Now me and his mother have shared custody. Um we I've for the past going on 3 years now, I've been able to see him twice a week for half an hour via video chat because they live one a little bit further than at the time either of us could be able to manage. Um, and whenever we did the modification, even though they just moved to a location, she was moving again at the time, and since then moved again, and now they have moved again. um, and honestly, I've been trying for the past 6 years to be able to see him sooner. Now, whenever we started doing the the talks for the custody and everything else, the idea was that I would do the video chat to get him used to me for 3 to 6 months. After that, immediately should have been, she wanted there to be some sort of supervised visitation, and I was like, okay, we can fit that in. Another 3 to 6 months, that's fine. And then 3 to 6 months for an actual visit face to face, and then after that would be overnight stays. And keep in mind, 3 to 6 months each phase, more or less, unless for whatever reason there was an adjustment issue with my son that needed to change. However, um, 3 years on the same process. Each time I wanted to see him, it was like, well, you need to do this, you need to do that, this, that, and whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see what we can do to work that out. Now, this year, 2020, I wanted to be able to see him by the end of the year. Um, to be able to prove to her that I can handle all this. I took parenting classes. I think some of you guys have seen it on my on the spot videos I did in the past. Took a parenting program. It's called the Positive Parenting Program. 3P, I think it was called. Did very well at that. Out of all the people that signed up, I was one of the very few that was able to actually go through with it all to the end. And the organization that handled the program was willing to help me organize a excuse me, chest pains. Organize my own little program for him. Not really a supervised setting, but more like something to help him because of his special needs to be able to ease the transition a little bit easier. Which is something that no other person. They even told me, like, no one else has really ever tried to do anything like this before. Use different agencies to be able to be there to help monitor his progression and help with your bonding process. And I wrote it all in the proposal, sent it over to his mom, and his mom seemed to like the idea, except that my own personal hopes was that, okay, well, within 3 months, going back to the 3 to 6 months idea, we'll be able to go to the next step if there isn't an issue. Well, her issue is that she doesn't trust me, which, not faulting her for that. First of all, we're exes. Exes don't tend to trust people, and especially the circumstances that got us. No, I can't even say the circumstances got us to be exes, because before the circumstance, we were already exes at the time. Well, to her, I was. And I can kind of see where she's coming from, but at the same time, my biggest concern. I'm not saying that within 3 months we're just going to go to the next step, but I am definitely saying if there is no problem at the end of the 3 months, at the end of 3 sessions, heck, we can try doing 2 sessions a month and make that 6 sessions. But if there's no problem, there really shouldn't be anything to prevent me from moving on to the next step. But the problem is her. She doesn't want that. At least that's my understanding of the situation. So we're going to court next Friday. Not this Friday, not Black Friday, but the following Friday. And I am terrified. I am nervous. I am anxious. I'm going through cigarettes like there's no tomorrow. I think I've done like 2 cartons this month because of all this, and 2 whole cartons from like the stress and anxiety and seriously like the fear. And it's like, oh, what are you afraid of? Like, what can she really do? And it's like, it's not necessarily things that she does. Like it's not like I fear that she's gonna hurt me. It's the fear that I know and that she knows that she's holding the cards in a situation, being my son, and I need to prove that I'm more or less Superman in order to get him back. I can't just be like, I'm a regular person trying to get my son back. It's like, oh, you have to be damn near perfect. There has to be damn near no problems. They have to be damn near, everything has to be fine. Beyond fine, everything has to be great in order for you to get your son back. I'm like, there are drug dealers and drug addicts out there that have their kids because they, whatever the reason. I'm not going to speculate. I know. I can't say that I know. I feel that no matter what I do is never going to be enough for her. Nothing I do can be able to persuade her to believe that me wanting to see my son is a good idea. To her, it's a horrible idea. To her, it's something that she wished I just stopped trying to do. And honestly, being in the same room as her terrifies me. To like the core. Like even thinking about it sometimes makes me weak to the knees kind of thing. Even making my heart rate race right now because of it. And I was hoping that I would be able to have either one of my specialists or one of the people who are going to be part of the whole face-to-face proposal to be able to be there, but because of all this COVID thing, all this COVID stuff, well, my one cannot make it because of COVID. Her higher up said that, you know, because of COVID, we don't want any of our people to be sick. We're already understaffed as it is. We're not trying to risk that. And my other specialists happened to have special training that day, and she cannot come. And I can't ask anybody else to come because, once again, COVID, the courthouse has certain rules and regulations, at least when it came to like a professional, a specialist, or anybody with like a degree or an actual special title. There'll be reasons for me to be like, okay, well, I need this person in as, at the very least, evidence. At the very least, evidence. If not moral and or mental health support. But because of COVID, that's not a thing now. And because of COVID, I can't have regular people come in either. I can't have Sue, I can't have Bunny. I feel like in a video game when the main character has to fight the main bad guy by himself and there's no continues. There is no continues, there's no save point. I'm going into the dungeon by myself here. With the one thing that terrifies me. The one thing that like had my life come crashing down 2014. And maybe that's one of the reasons why I am so terrified. Because that person did bring everything down in my life then. Like everything. And I'm just trying to not have it all fall apart again. A couple weeks back, I tried to have a conversation with her on the phone, and it became a yelling contest where she hung up on me. Later on, she messaged saying that she said that I was being uncooperative. I wasn't trying to. I just didn't want this next step to be another 2 years. She made the comment that I haven't seen him in such a long time. And I wanted to fire back. That's because of you. I wanted to see him 3 to 6 months after the video sessions. And don't get me wrong, the video sessions are great. Like we've been last week we talked about immigration. My son, who is 8 years old, was telling me about other countries coming to America. The Irish, Scottish, the Swedens, like there's so many different groups, and he's telling me these things. Dad, did you know this? Like, I'm like, whoa, this is what they're teaching. Because like my brothers and sisters who went to school, they're like, they don't teach us nothing in school, but he's telling me these things, and I'm just like, whoa, buddy, you are, boom, you blowing my mind right now. And like, that's not the only thing we ever do. Like, you know, we read stories to each other, we play tic-tac-toe, which, by the way, he is a tic-tac-toe master. Like, he is, like, he got me a couple times. I wasn't even expecting it. What else do? We do brain quests. We play hide the coin. It's like, you know, it's kind of like, okay, like, you know, put a coin in one hand, shake it up, mix it up, find which hand it is. Practice on our left and our rights. Like in the past 2 or 3 years, it's been all good. It really has been. The experience that me and him have had has been great, tremendously great. But obviously I want more. I want to see my son. I want to experience my son because there's only so much I can do. Granted, we played hide and seek. Like, how do you play hide and seek through video chat? How do you play Uno? We figured out a way to do it. Don't get me wrong. He's like, let's do this. I'm like, all right, let's figure out a way to make that happen. Let's figure out a way to make this work. I want to be able to be more of a father. And yes, she's right. It's been a long time since he's seen me face to face. I don't want that to be any longer. I am tired of waiting any longer for that. And like that kind of rips me up inside. It kind of tears me up. Like us. Some of you guys don't know I'm an angry person. That might seem kind of shocking to some of you, and other you like, oh, angry black man syndrome and all that stuff. But like, to me, I get angry because a lot of things go on, and you know, I feel powerless against it. I feel powerless, helpless, hopeless against everything sometimes. And in the past, I always just kind of use the anger to fuel me to do more, not to bust walls, not to bust people. Those days are done. Even before I met my son's mom, I was kind of the person that, like, okay, something needed to get done, he'd get it done. Whatever it was, he'll get it done. I met her. I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna be that man anymore. I had my son, and I promised him I would not be the man that lets anger hurt other people anymore. And since then, I've just been doing a real good job. In my opinion, my walls aren't holy. I try really hard to let things go in such a way, and sometimes that letting things go sometimes upsets me even more. Like, oh, I'm letting this person get away with this bull. But then I remember the promise I made. I'm like, you know, I'm gonna try to do better. I'm gonna try to always do better by you. And yet here I am. I think I'm failing him again. I'm not strong enough. And now that I won't have my support, you know, I'm not. Jesus. I just gotta be. I just gotta be strong enough. I just gotta be. You can do this. You got this. 100%, 110%, because you're not alone in this. Alright? All the crazy shit that's happened, all the crazy shit that not just you, but that we've been through. You got this. You've always held us up on all of this. I don't got any concern about whether or not you can be a good father to your son. Not once. Not one single time did it ever cross my mind that you were bad in his life. You're a good man. I've seen you do a lot of good things to people who don't deserve it. A lot of people who don't deserve it. But you don't trust yourself, and I understand why. I do. I get it. But you need to shut the fuck up and actually get to it. Because I can do this. Yeah, you're right. I can do this. There are people that let me watch their kids because they trust me beyond other, like their own family members. Like I'm part of the Myers, and they invite me all the time. Like, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Because we trust in your ability to do what is right. And sometimes I don't always do what is right the right way, but I always have the best of intentions. So you're right. I can do this. Now, at first, I was kind of angry. I really was. I was angry because I was going to do this all by myself, and I couldn't ask anybody to do it. One, you know, it's not their problem; it's mine. You know, my son, my issues, my trials and tribulations. Not only that, but like, you know, what can other people really do? What can they say? Like, I couldn't tell you how many times people have told me, you know, what do you want me to do? Or like, you know, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I hear that all the time from Sue. Or I don't know what to say. I hear that a lot from Kitty. And they're right. Like, it's not their problem to try to solve it. And my problems are not no more problems. My issues are not no more issues. Damn straight. I don't know what to do when I'm gonna be in that courtroom with her. There's a part of me that knows in the past when me and my specialist have done this process called EMDR, which is kind of like hypnosis, and like during the hypnosis process, she put me in a room with her, and I crumble. Truth. But I can't let that happen this time. For him. Because I promised him that I'll do everything I can to be a better person. I'm going to try. Not just a college try. I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to go in there with all my paperwork. And since my specialists and the professionals can't make it to these meetings because of COVID, I might have them write down a letter of recommendation. That way I show it to the judge and be like, okay, well, these people say that I'm pretty good. Heck, I might even have Sue and Chuck, Michelle and Larry. I might have Danielle. I might have freaking even Bunny write down, you know, letter of recommendation. Like, you know, we let him watch our kids. We trust him. If nothing else, he is a protector. If nothing else, he will stand in the way, and nothing else, he will do what is the best thing to do. One Christmas And this is one of Sue has this thing whenever she gets his ornaments. It's all based upon her personalities and stuff. First Christmas when I was here, she got me Leonardo and all the other brothers, you know, their respective Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I always kind of held that, like, you know, oh, I'm a Leonardo? I'm no leader. But maybe Leonardo thought the same thing. But sometimes you just gotta do what's in front of you. The next Christmas, she got me Captain America. And I was just like, whoa. She's like, yeah, you always seem to do the right thing. You might not always do it right, but you always seem to do the right thing. No matter how hard it is, you always do. You just do it. Shit, thank you, Sue. Thank you for helping me remind me who I am. And Bunny, thank you so much for always being in my corner to let me know I'm not alone in this. Thank you. And everybody else, BB, Auntie, Shoot, M, A, D. So many people on my side on this who support me and know that I can do the right thing and know that I'll do right. Regardless of what the judge ends up saying, the judge isn't gonna say, okay, well, you don't get to be a dad no more. That's not something the judge even has power to do. But even if it does take me a little bit longer, according to the courts, at least I know when the courts will say, okay, when this happens, and then you get the privilege of doing that. I know that'll be a thing. I know there's any strings attached, so let me know, prior. I think I got this. And sometimes just talking it out helps. A lot of times just talking it out helps. Alright, what else is there to talk about? Alright, so my therapist says, my other therapist, but I got two, says I should give up using code names, like Operation Relocation and the Legacy Project and stuff like that, so I can try to sound a little bit normal or average or whatever. I kind of put some thought to that, and I said whatever to that. So Operation Relocation, well, that's going. Hopefully by December 1st, shortly before this December 1st, I'll have the key to my new place. I told Sue, I told my little sister. No one else in the household knows. Not because I plan, because like obviously I can't move. Like, granted, you guys, you don't only see a small portion of this small room that I got to myself, but like, it's going to take me more than a day to move all of it. Most of it. If whatever I don't move, I'm obviously going to throw out, and I still need to get other furniture and whatnot because I'm going to be living in a whole apartment by myself together. And the hardest thing about that is, like, I haven't told Chuck, mainly because I know a couple of things are, one, like I said, they rely on me so heavily that, like, if I were just to kind of like up and leave, it kind of leaves them. I'm not the kind of guy to kind of leave people holding all the bags. Even at workplaces that you give a 2-week notice. So I'm probably gonna do something like that. Come the first, when I give my my rent to Chuck, I'm probably gonna be like, hey, this probably gonna be the last month I'll be here. I will help you train whoever you need to train. I will help you process whatever you need to process. Like, I help with his mom sometimes. Well, not his mom. Sue's mom's mom. Yeah, I'm still learning how family relations like that work. But when I leave, if I were to keep doing that, there has to be some kind of back and forth there. Now, I've been working kind of like as an unpaid intern for Random Broadcasting before, and now Twilight Broadcasting, as a board operator. Somebody who controls commercials, like when someone switches from, mostly for live events, when especially from live events to commercials, commercials back to live events and stuff like that. I've been trying to do that. I know when I leave, especially with the way that things are set up currently, it would be very difficult for that to be a thing if I don't live in the house. But they're going to get COVID allowed things like that. They were moving, COVID hit, so the move kind of like slowed to a crawl. I'm hoping that when I talk to them, we can talk about, okay, what can we do to get the new building, so that at the very least I can go to do the board up at the new building. And he even said, we've had conversations before about potentially being able to compensate me for the time and efforts I put into the board op and things. So since I seem to be doing a decently good job without messing that up, I always kind of feel bad, not about being paid, like, do work, get paid for it, I get that, but like when the pay comes from like somebody's actual pocket, it's like, shoot, this is money coming out of your funds to be able to feed your household, to take care of your household things and whatever. There's always like a small little inkling in me that's like, ooh, especially if I live in the same house, I'm like, okay, well, I'm taking money from food in the house that I'm currently living in. That seems kind of like, I say food, like, any kind of financial anything. It just seems, it's just hard for me. But I think that being able to talk to Chuck come the first when I give him my money, like, yo, I have this other place. I'm paying for the other place too. Also paying for me to live here. Help me, what can we do to kind of, who do I need to train to take my position if this is not going to be a thing that I can do outside of this house? And if you do want to keep me, what can we do to be able to make that a thing to, compensate the time and energy put into it? And that's going to be a hard conversation, because the last conversation, shit, was like 5 years ago, wasn't even a conversation. They found that I was looking for a new place, and he damn near had a heart attack, got angry a certain kind of way. Was like, oh, if you're going to leave, what was the point of bringing you in, kind of thing. Just a lot of things Simon kind of plays back for me, just to remind me that, certain people are certain people, but he's not like, I don't think he's going to be like that this time. I'm going to come to him like an adult, like a professional, and be like, hey, I'm leaving soon. What can we do together to make this transition not as painful? I don't know. I guess you guys might hear about that next week, hopefully, if I don't check it out. And the Legacy Project, obviously the hearing was happening not this Friday, once again, the Friday after, Operation Relocation. Obviously that's part of the whole Legacy Project. I want to be in a location where my son can look at me and be like, okay, well, this is Dad's place. And I definitely want to be like, hey, son, this is my place. If you need anything, ask me. And I myself will come to the decision of whether or not you can do X, Y, or Z. I don't have to go to somebody else or whatnot for anything small, like, oh, can I get something from the fridge? Or can I do this and can I do that? So I'm big, like, oh, can I paint the walls? I'm like, hold up. We might have to have a deeper conversation about that. But, like, just, I want to be able to be the king of that dwelling. And I don't know, like, I talked to a couple people about this, like, why do you have to explain that? because when you live in a place where, your parents want to be as helpful to you as possible, people who you live with want to be as helpful to you as possible. They're like, all right, why don't you stay here? We just find a way to make it work. And it's like, see, once again, it's you giving me the not the privilege, but like, you'd be like, okay, here's a little something, and I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be like, okay, well, you want your own place, get it. That way, whenever something happens, you can take control of it. If there's too much traffic in the place, you'd be like, all right, I don't want all this traffic. Like, obviously, it's my place. No one else is going to come in and out unless I want them to come in and out, kind of thing. So, there's that. But, like, living here, I live here with my siblings that live here with my parents, if they want someone to come through and it's their room, it's like, that shouldn't bother me, but sometimes it does. I want to be in a place where I can just, without having to feel like I'm being an asshole for saying so, I really don't feel comfortable with 20 heads up in this place. Like, well, is this your house? Like, oh yeah, you're right. It ain't my house. When I get my own place, like, hey, this is my place. Get the fuck out. So I'm just looking forward to all that. Me and Bunny are doing great. I think it was last week. Was it last weekend? No, it was the weekend before that. Me and her made this thing called a apple cheesecake taco, which was, it was good. Don't get me wrong, it was good. Like I ate the crap out of that shit. There was a small little bump in the road. All the ingredients wasn't gotten, and all the directions wasn't read prior to us doing it, and that's kind of my fault too. I was like, okay, well we gotta read it. Let's read it. And like I try to skim through it. I have a hard time reading sometimes, so like I'm trying to skim through it. I'm like, okay, help me understand what I'm missing. And that happened to be, that in itself didn't cause a conflict, but like there was a small conflict when it came to us being able to be on the same page as that. And it wasn't necessarily anybody's fault. It was just honestly lack of preparation. I haven't really done anything like that before. I'm hoping next time that we're gonna hang out will be, I think this coming weekend, we're gonna try this thing called a breakfast pizza. So that's gonna be interesting. So check that out I'm gonna try to put it on Twitter. Last thing I put only on Facebook, but this time I'm gonna put this thing on Twitter too. I'm gonna read the list of ingredients, get those ingredients before I come over, or if we end up doing it, I'm gonna be like, hey, we're gonna go out shopping together to get all the ingredients that we need for this. So like we do it together, because obviously I missed some things too, she missed some things too, but if we work together, maybe we can catch what the other person misses. It'll be fun. The whole bonding idea. Yeah. I was a little bit worried about Princess. The idea that like for a while it was just her and her mom. Then this new guy comes in now. If anybody out there who's listening has been a stepdad before, you know what that's like. The idea, and like once again, I'm not trying to give myself that title, stepdad. It's just, excuse me, it's just the best word I know how to use to describe all of that. So it's not easy, and a lot of times I have to kind of like think, okay, if my son was here, how would I handle this situation? And there's a lot of times I definitely worry, and I see that this happens a lot with parents who try to co-parent separately. The idea that, okay, well, I need to be able to have my children like me too, or else they will choose the other parent, rather than two parents working together and going, okay, well, we're going to work together to be able to do what's best for you rather than what you like. When it comes to co-parenting from a distance, is a lot more of like, okay, well, I need to do this to a certain degree, because if our child doesn't like it, then the child's going to go to the other parent, like, this parent didn't do da-da-da. I'm like, oh, was the other parent being a dick? It's like, oh, great, now I'm a dick. So is that that balance, that seesaw, give and take scenario where like, okay, well, do you need to be the bad cop all the time, or or being the good cop is that bad too, because you're just giving in to whatever they want? And I don't want to be the good cop. At the same time, I see the idea of being, because I'm a pretty strict dad. I'm like, all right, look, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna pull up our pants and get it done. Oh shit! Look, more or less telling me what I told myself. Yeah, it's kind of what I came to the realization earlier, thanks to the way my brain works. I don't know, but I do know that going forward, I'm going to do my best to work with Princess. Well, no, I'm going to work with Bunny to help with Princess. And if I need to be the bad guy, I'm going to try to be the devil's advocate to Bunny. And be like, hey, I think we should do it like this, rather than like that. And that's my 2 cents on it. And if you need me to enforce that, I will enforce that happily. But at the same time, I have to understand that is not necessarily my child. Like, I wouldn't want anybody else trying to take that position from me with my son, which is why I'm trying to do that now. Granted, his mom's trying to be a little bit difficult with that, but I'm trying to be that person that I should have pushed to be 3, 4, 5 years ago. And granted, that all that time in the past, I was trying to push it, but like at the same time, I wasn't trying to rock the boat. I was trying to do it nice and easy, and I realized I'm at a point now that I want more. How my son wants more. He has told me, "Hey, Dad, I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to hang out with you. I can't wait to do this. I can't wait to do that." I'm like, "Yo, my boy, we're gonna find a way to make this a reality." So through this experience with Princess, I'm gonna learn how to be a better parent too, and hopefully with this process with Bunny, I'm gonna learn to be a better person too. And she's only been able to do that. Like, she's how do I say that? She's like the best thing that's happened to me. How do I say that? By saying she's the best thing that's happened to me. She really is. She makes me smile. She makes me laugh. She makes me feel wanted. She doesn't make me feel like a fool. And if we have any kind of disagreements, we just work it out. We actually conversate. And I don't feel that like I'm being overbearing. I'm not feeling I'm being pushy. I'm not feeling I'm taking control. I don't want to take control. I want to work together. If that makes any sense. Oh God, I hate saying that. Saying because I've been hearing a lot more from other people. But yeah, things are going pretty well. Going in the right direction. And Christmas is coming up soon. And I have a suitcase full of stuff that I'm ready to already get people, but Christmas ain't here yet. I got a trunk in my car full of stuff for my son, and he's gonna flip. He's gonna be like, look at this, look at this, look at this. And like, oh, I cannot wait. Granted, I was gonna get him an Xbox, but his mom was like, absolutely no consoles. And once again, it's one of those, oh, that's not even a conversation. That's you declaring. And I'm not a fan of that. But right now, I don't have a leg to stand on when it comes to that. Now, whenever he comes over, it was like, oh, is that an Xbox? Yeah, but I'm gonna time you. You got an hour. Do you want to use it now? Do you want to use it before you go to bed? That kind of stuff. Like, trying to do the best I can with what I got. It's not easy. It's not easy. But I'm trying. Alright, so I talked for like 38 minutes. A little bit lag here and there, but it's there. I'm not sure if he'll actually record it all or if it's gonna like, because I noticed like the internet kind of dropped for a second. Another thing I'm looking forward to, my own internet I can actually plug in, because right now I'm running off the Wi-Fi in the highest point of the house. So I'm just lucky enough that this is coming out as clear as it is currently coming out. I'm just happy about that. I don't want Operation Relocation to be the end of me and the Myers, but I do want it to be the end of the Myers relying on me so heavily, so that, no, I'm saying that wrong. I want it to be the beginning where I start relying on myself solely when it comes to things that I want. Even right now, like most of the things that I take care of is all me. Like, oh, do you need help? No, I got it. I'll figure out a way to make it work. I couldn't tell you how many times me and Sue have had heated conversations. Why won't you let us help you? I'm like, because it is my shit. Let me take care of my shit. Once I can't take care of my own shit, then help me. But don't assume just because I have shit that it needs to be taken care of by anybody else that isn't me. And she gets it. She does. She does. She just doesn't like seeing me suffer. She doesn't like not suffer. She doesn't like seeing me struggle. No one likes seeing the people that they care about struggle. No one. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna get off this. I'm gonna see if I can play Captain America on Marvel Avengers, because I picked that up. And I was hoping it was going to be able to help me feel better after hearing that I wasn't going to have anybody in my corner. It didn't. And I went downstairs to help out with a couple things. And they're like, yo, we realize something's going on. What's going on? And I realized, okay, maybe I do need to find a way to talk about it. But I don't want to talk about it to any one person, because then they would feel like, okay, well, what do you want us to say? What do you want us to do? Where do you really want us to be here? And I'm like, I really don't want anybody to do anything. I want the people who I need to do things to be able to do those things, like my specialists and whatnot. But I understand because one, because of COVID, two, because of prior obligations that and it's the season, so shit, gotta take care of life and like your own. So I understand that. I just have to find a way to still have their help there when they can't physically be there. And if there's anybody who can be able to figure out what to do, is the doer. What my brothers call me, the doer. So let me get to doing. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much. And sorry about earlier, waterworks and all that. I'll try to make that a less of a thing.